It's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. And this is another sign. The Shemitah has begun. Is it possible that there exists a 3,000-year-old mystery that lies behind everything from the implosion of the New York Stock Exchange, the collapse of the American and world economy, the attack of 9/11, the rise of nations, the fall of nations, and events that have not yet happened, but are yet to take place? It is possible that the words of an ancient text are determining and controlling the future of the financial realm, the business realm, and the economic realm. Is it possible that an ordinance given to a relatively small and obscure Middle Eastern nation is now determining the future of every nation on earth? It is possible that a spiritual principle given to a nation of shepherds and farmers lies behind the expansion and collapse of virtually every stock market in the world? Could it also be possible that a mystery begun over 3,000 years ago on a desert mountain pinpoints the exact time, down to dates and hours, of some of the most critical events of modern times? And is it possible that this mystery is even now governing the future of everyone and the lives of most inhabitants of this planet? Yes, and it's called the Shemitah, and it is a 7-year cycle. The Shemitah is the Sabbath of years, and just as 7 is the number of the Sabbath, 7 is also the number of the Shemitah. The Shemitah can act to break man's pride, humble a nation, and bring humility. The Shemitah reminds man of his weakness, or a nation of its total dependence on God. The Shemitah reminds that nation that the source of its blessings come from God, and without Him those blessings cannot remain. The Shemitah calls man to relinquish his claims of dominion and sovereignty before the sovereignty and dominion of God. The Shemitah is about letting fall. The Shemitah in the form of judgment is linked to the fall of such a nation. The Shemitah brings about the wiping away of what has been built up. The Shemitah manifests a return to the foundation. When the Shemitah comes, that which a nation has built up in its financial and economic realms is wiped away. It levels accounts and brings back to ground level all that has been built up in the years before its coming. The word Shemitah comes from the Hebrew root word shamat. Shamat can be translated as to release and to remit, as in the release or remission of debts in the year of the Shemitah. It can also mean to let alone, as in no longer watching over or maintaining that which has been watched over and maintained. It can signify the releasing of one's grip to allow the natural course of things to progress and the natural consequences to fall. It can also mean to detach and to pull away. It can also mean to loosen, and it can mean to shake, to overthrow, to cast down, to discontinue, to let fall, or collapse. In other words, it can cause a nation to go in a different direction. Yes, the Shemitah has begun. It now concerns America and the whole world. Mark chapter 13, verse 14. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that hears understand, but let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. 15. And let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house, neither enter therein, to take anything out of his house. 16. And let him that is in the field not turn back again, for to take up his garment. 17. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that nurse in those days. 18. And pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. 19. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. 20. And except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. 21. And then if any human shall say to you, Lo, here is Christ, or Lo, he is there, believe him not. 22. For false Christs and false prophets shall arise, and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. 23. But take ye heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. 24. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. 25. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. Again, the Shemitah is beginning. Everything that must change quickly or rapidly, and for the better, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations, and that should be a very important question to ask. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 10. The bricks are fallen down, but we will build with hewn stones. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them into cedars. It's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. And the fourth angel is sounding